So Marner started off his first training camp avail by saying this.
Hey everyone, good to see you all again. Hope your summer's good. Obviously know there's going to be some contract questions, but not here to talk about that. Like I stated in the captaincy media availability, very happy to be in Maple Leaf. It's unbelievable privilege, but I'm not here to talk about that. I'm here to talk about the season and getting going.
Well, there you go. Yep. I don't blame him. It's going to be a pain in his ass until this thing's wrapped up.
You seem stoked.
I don't know. So I was listening to the CJ show yesterday, and I thought he had the most interesting perspective on it because he was in the room for this, and he sat down, and Mitch did this, and he was like, okay, it started off a little contentious, obviously. You come out right away and you say this. But
it's just very stiff.
Yeah, it was very, but then by the end of it, he warmed up and answered all the questions, and everything was fun from that point on. It's just, you couldn't ask anything about the contract.
Sometimes you got to set boundaries.
That's okay.
Okay.
I don't have a problem with that. Like
I said, he could have Steven Stamkos'd it.
Yes, which is not great. Like, these guys are all obviously very trained. Marner said this. Tavares said this. Robertson said something very similar. He's like, nope, I'm not here to blah, blah, blah. And I respect and understand that. I wouldn't want to talk about it.
No.
I totally understand.
One thing that did come up from that, too, is that apparently in a Luke Fox one-on-one, there is an admission from Marner that his camp is, or his agent will be, open to negotiating the contract throughout the year. And a lot of players don't do this, or they say they don't do it. They might just be like, okay, Mr. Agent, you go ahead and do it. Don't tell me about it. Because you don't want to be distracted. And I get that. I don't believe that. I don't believe a lot of players that are like, we're not negotiating in season, actually don't. Because if somebody comes to you and goes, we'll give you a infinity $1 billion, you're going to be open to negotiating.
No, I'm a man of principle.
Yeah, like
Click.
you are. You're going to be open to it.
Yeah.
So I think
they were using an old phone.
I think that's interesting enough. And Jesse in one of our group chats is like, well, he wants to stay here, so that's not that surprising.
I didn't think.
Didn't you say that?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh, somebody else said it. No. Anyway, I thought it was you that said it. But the reality of it is,
maybe
if they do kind of talk throughout the year, I get the sense that this time versus what was going on last time, when you have essentially a sophomore/rookie general manager in Kyle Dubas, I think that this negotiation might go different. Last time, if you remember, the negotiation really started the day that Austin Matthews' extension was announced, because Mitch Marner's agent went to the Toronto Star and shot off about how it was a bad contract and Mitch was going to get his money and whatever. That was not well received by the fans, and it continued. That was like early January. It continued all the way to 2 days before training camp when he signed, and fans were pissed. And to be honest,
then he started poorly.
Fans to this day have not forgotten it. A lot of fans have been like, didn't like that, didn't appreciate that. And it's not because you don't want Mitch to get paid. Good luck, go get your money. But it was this whole cat and mouse thing where there seemed to be we're going to go. You have reporters going, unironically telling you that, well, they're open to playing in Zurich. Like, where, a team that literally cannot afford it. And so I think this time, what this has signaled to me is, this is Mitch sitting down in front of the media going, I don't want to talk about it. I want to talk about the season. And then he tells Luke Fox, we'll be open to negotiating throughout the year. It's signaling to me this is not going to be done through the media this time, which I think is better for team and player.
So this is a quote.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Jonah,
I could be completely wrong on that, but that's what I believe. That is what
Because the history of his agent is negotiating through the media.
Sure.
So
absolutely.
So from Jonas Siegel, to maintain the integrity of ongoing negotiations, this is from Darren Ferris, it is essential that these discussions remain confidential and are conducted in a constructive manner. As such, we will not be providing public updates on their status at this time. This isn't a Mitch thing. This is very much a Darren Ferris thing. He doesn't conduct himself this way with any of his clients. Any of them. They all hold out. They all were going to go play in Europe. He was Broberg's agent when he requested a trade, but then didn't. Remember that last season? You got to have a long memory for these things. Another big issue with that Marner contract is it was friggin' huge, and there were a lot of pending RFAs of future stars. at the time. And what we said in 2019, again, yes, it's 2024. You got to remember the context of the time. We're like, okay, but watch, these guys are going to sign for similar numbers. And then they friggin' didn't.
No.
Mikko Rantanen was the big one.
Yep.
He was the name where it's like, watch, he's going to sign for in and around Marner. And he signed for, I think it was 9? Something like that. Who's been better over the last 5 years?
Right.
Regular season and playoffs. It's not close.
One of them has a cup.
Yeah.
It's not particularly close. It hasn't gone well. It hasn't, Mitch is this consistent 100-point. When? He hasn't hit 100.
Yeah, but he's at 90.
I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn.
Come on.
I don't give a damn. You got to hit 100. So, listen, all of these things are just context, right? That being said about Mitch, I've said it on the show and I'll say it again. I think he's gunning for Dougie's record. Dude, it's a contract year and he's playing with Austin Matthews. Dougie's record is 127 points. Over the last 2 seasons, guys have regularly been cracking 120. The biggest scorers in the league. I think he could do it.
I think he can. I think no question. I do think, like I said, I think he's your A1 fantasy pick. This guy, assuming no injuries.
Depending on how your pool weights points, like if goals are worth more than assists, then you probably don't pick him. Mm-hmm. If goals are worth the same as points, he might be the first Leaf you pick. Seriously.
It appears today, by the way, they're taking, there's from yesterday, it appears Morgan Riley will be sharing, Marner and Riley will be sharing assistant captain duties this year, and Tavares will be the full-time assistant. Because you remember how Matthews and Marner split it for the last 4 or 5 years?
That tracks.
So yeah, they're all leaders.
See, just on the contract thing, you go down the list of the guys who still make less than Mitch Marner from when he signed that contract. And it's like, okay, Eichel signed his deal 7 years ago. It was less than Mitch Marner's. It's the Sagan deal was less than Marner's. Aho signed this past season. It's less than Marner's.
It's wildly less than Marner.
Yeah, it's 975. Even like...
Oh, I thought you meant the offer sheet one that he signed.
Oh, the one before. No, I'm talking
They're
about
both less.
The most recent one is still $1 million less than Marner. So yeah, that contract, it wasn't precedent setting at all amongst the big name players, and we all thought it would be with the cap going up and everything. It's never turned out that way.
It was twofold. The cap was going up at the time, but players like Rantanen, who was due at the same time, did not follow suit. Then the world stopped and the cap stayed flat. And the Leafs were boned and didn't adjust. And April jar. Here you go.
And even if you compare it to the contracts that some RFAs have signed recently, like if we go 2 days ago and Lucas Raymond signing for 8 something, like that's in comparison for where, okay, we're an upstart RFA who's going to be a star one day. Getting 8 in this climate is still fantastic.
Dude,
and back then, signing it for 10-9. It just, the more history goes on, is the context of that contract, it just appears more and more crazy.
Well, 10-9 when Austin Matthews was scoring 40 every single season and making 11-6-3-4. What? Pardon? No, you're not that close. Anyway, sorry. This is all, again, it is relevant for the time, but he's going to turn the page, play the best hockey of his life.
And I like that we don't have to talk about this all the time. Like, I really do. Like, it is, because what it does become is, it is cat and mouse, and that's the way they played it last time, and I really did not enjoy that. Even that, I didn't enjoy the Nylander saga.
No, that was terrible.
It was terrible.
Oh my gosh.
I really didn't enjoy the Marner one, and it's not because of Mitch. And so because I, at the end of the day, you just want to watch these guys play hockey because you're a fan, and like I do love this player. My daughter's first jersey was a Mitch Marner jersey, right? Like I think that's where I want it to go, and I do think when Morgan Riley says, and you guys will laugh, it's if we don't win the Stanley Cup this year, or if we don't get to the finals this year, and this is what he said yesterday, we have to look at this season as a failure. That is what I want them to be looking at. That is what I want to be talking about. That's the kind of, I don't want to talk about April. I want to talk about May. I want to talk about June.
Yes.
Sure. And
for the first time.
And we have talked about July.
Hey, ho.
You get it? That was dark.
Yeah, so we had that quote on Wednesday, but we didn't have the audio, so I feel like it was important to expand on it. Yeah, so play it. And CJ said the same thing about the negotiations now moving forward. He shut it down. We're not going to have a conversation about it. So as soon as the Leafs get rolling, and as long as they're at the bar that everybody expects them to be during the regular season, we're probably going to not talk about it as much. Just like how the Willie negotiations were just fine. You know, everything went along. He dominated. So then it became a topic of conversation of like, you need to get him signed, you know, because he's so good. But it was kind of level. It wasn't contentious.
Yeah.
So hopefully we can reach that point
Or
with Marner.
If it was contentious, we didn't hear about it.
Exactly.
This was annoying about the last time. Hey, I'm blocking out the noise. I'm blocking out the noise. And all his agent did was bang pots and pans together and make so much friggin' noise. This time around, it's nice.
It's better for everybody.
It's better for everyone, especially Mitch. Let's keep it this way.